details, the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference and the Christian Council of Ghana have called for Christian mission schools to be allowed to retain their Christian identity, traditions and rules amid ongoing national debate over the rights of Muslim students in such institutions. This comes as the Supreme Court hears a case against Wesley Girls Senior High School where lawyer Shafiq Usman alleges the school prevents Muslim students from praying, fasting and practicing other aspects of their faith. The court has ordered Wesley Girls to respond within 14 days and has permitted civil society group Democratic Hub to join as amicus curiae. Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayene, meanwhile, has rejected claims of discrimination, asserting that the Methodist-run school retains the right to enforce rules reflecting its Christian foundation, even if this limits certain religious expressions. In a joint statement issued on Tuesday, November 25, the Christian Council and Catholic bishops said the debate reflects a misunderstanding of the history and purpose of mission schools. They explained that these schools were established, owned and operated by churches long before the Ghanaian state existed. Government support does not grant the state authority to redefine their identity. They stressed that parents voluntarily choose mission schools for their discipline, moral training, and academic performance. It is unfair to expect these schools to dilute their Christian character when numerous public, private, and Islamic schools exist. The statement said. They added that the Constitution protects the right of religious groups to run institutions that reflect their faith, and asking Christian schools to compromise their identity would violate these freedoms. Meanwhile, Education Minister Haruna Idriso has stressed that the government will ensure no student is deprived of their right to practice their religion in any secondary school. He was reacting to claims that Muslim students at the Wesley Girls High School are being prevented from practicing their religion, the central issue in a suit filed by private legal practitioner Shafiq Usman. Speaking on the floor of Parliament on Tuesday, November 25, 2025, Mr. Idrisu stated that any action that denies students of their religious rights will not be countenanced.
Mr. Speaker, let me also use this opportunity in debating the budget, since I speak as the present Minister for Education, that there is some ongoing debate on restrictions on Muslim students in Wesley Girls, which conflicts with international human rights standards and even standard expected of us in Ghana's Constitution and Article 33(5) and 26(1) of the Constitution. And then to assure our colleagues that we have a duty to uphold the rights of every Ghanaian child and to uphold the rights of every Ghanaian citizen. No right is divisible, and that we will not countenance any action by any person to deny any Ghanaian girl the opportunity to profess or practice any religion. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude.
Away from the alleged religious discrimination, President John Dramani Mahama has approved a 2-year extension for Inspector General of Police Christian Tete Yohunu, following a recommendation by the Police Council. The extension allows IGP Yohunu to continue leading the Ghana Police Service as it deepens ongoing reforms and strengthens national security operations. The move is aimed at ensuring continuity in security management and sustaining progress achieved under his leadership. Appointed earlier this year, IGP Yohunu has been credited with enhancing police visibility, improving crime response strategies, and advancing community policing initiatives across the country. He was originally expected to retire in December 2025. President John Dramani Mahama has dismissed public calls for the immediate appointment of substantive ministers for defense and environment, science and technology, saying those positions will be filled in 2026. He made a comment during a meeting with Muslim leaders at the Jubilee House on Tuesday, November 25, referring to the recent death of Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omani Buama and Environment Minister Dr. Murtala Mohammed. The president urged the public to avoid speculation about replacements.
It's taking fiscal discipline. We've had to be disciplined, all the appointees. We made a promise to appoint not more than 60 ministers, and some people said, how are you going to work with only 60 ministers? As I speak today, we're working with 58 ministers because, unfortunately, they say Allah gives and Allah takes. He took 2 of our comrades, and we haven't filled those positions yet. I can see people speculating he's going to appoint a new defense minister, a new environment minister. We're not in a hurry. I'll do those appointments next year after the holiday, the Christmas and the New Year. We'll fill those positions. And so those speculating about somebody going to be appointed tomorrow and all that, I mean, just take your time, go and enjoy Christmas, and then after Christmas we will take a decision on those ones.
President John Dramani Mahama has reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to multilateral cooperation in addressing global challenges, particularly climate change. He made the remarks when Prince Edward, Duke of Edinburgh, paid a courtesy call on him in Accra on Tuesday, November 25. Mahama emphasized that climate change remains a universal threat that no single nation can solve alone. The president warned that recent global developments driven by unilateral actions risk undermining the international system that has helped maintain stability for decades.
The Duke of Edinburgh is visiting us at a time where the global order is changing. After the Second World War, we all believed that the best for this world was a multilateral global order where nations came together to discuss and find solutions to common challenges that face the world. And I believe that since that time, our globe has scored many successes, especially in recent times with the Millennium Development Goals, where millions and millions of people were pulled out of poverty by us deciding together to do common targeting. We replaced that with the Sustainable Development Goals, and in 2030 we shall account to find out how far we have gone with the SDGs. And so we believe that multilateralism is the best order for our world, especially when you face challenges like climate crisis. Climate crisis affects all parts of the world, and no one country can adapt or find any resolution to the climate crisis. And so the only way we can tackle the climate crisis is to tackle it multilaterally. And I want to congratulate the UK for its leadership when it comes to issues of climate change and climate resilience. Unfortunately, recent actions by some countries.
Away from the presidency, the majority side of Parliament's Land and Natural Resources Committee is calling for amendments to the Minerals and Mining Act 703 to enable the government to increase the proposed royalty rate for the Woya lithium project. Under current law, Ghana can charge only a 5% royalty on mining companies' interests. This limitation forced the Lands Ministry to renegotiate the previously announced 10% rate, which critics argued had no legal backing. Addressing journalists on Tuesday, November 25, Committee Chairman Collins Dauda explained that the earlier 10% arrangement was rejected because it contravened existing legislation. According to the committee, the Minerals and Mining Amendment Act 2010 explicitly set a fixed royalty rate of 5%, making the 10% provision in the original agreement between the Akufo-Addo administration and Barari DV Ghana Limited unlawful.
We enacted a law, and the agreement that was presented to us also derived its authority from Act 703. It was extremely difficult for us to pass an agreement which contained a provision which was at variance with the provision of the law. So we advised the minister then to take steps to amend the law in order that Ghana will benefit more by way of royalties. That didn't happen. A report was not presented to the House, and so that was it in respect of the legal challenge. The second challenge was this: the 10%, because it was not provided for by law, but was provided for in the agreement between Ghana and Berari DV Ghana Limited. What it means is that it was only Berari DV Ghana Limited which was going to pay royalties on lithium at 10%, while the other mining giants like Newmont, like Goldfields, like Anglo Gold and others were going to stay on at 5%. We felt it was unfair and also discriminatory. And so based on these two, the legal challenge and this unfairness in the market, we advised the minister to take steps to amend the law to reflect what he put in the agreement. That was the challenge. But
still on the legislation side of government, Parliament has approved the abolition of the COVID-19 levy. The levy introduced under the Akufo-Addo administration to support pandemic-related expenditure has now been scrapped following the finance minister's announcement of its repeal in the 2026 budget. The government says the decision is aimed at boosting household incomes, supporting businesses, and accelerating economic transformation. Debating the motion, the minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin welcomed the repeal but called for broader tax relief. He urged the government to go further by removing the 1 Ghana cedi levy on petroleum products and the 18% electricity tariffs, saying this would demonstrate a genuine commitment to eliminating what he described as nuisance taxes. Away from Parliament, the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, has appealed to the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana to call off its indefinite strike, assuring that the government will resolve their outstanding concerns within 2 weeks. CTAG declared the nationwide strike on Monday, November 24, citing the government's failure to fully implement the National Labour Commission's arbitral award issued on May 2, 2023. The strike affects all 46 colleges of education across the country. Addressing journalists after a meeting with CTAC leadership on Tuesday, November 25, the minister said the government is committed to addressing the long-standing issues and urged the association to consult its members to head to the request. We are negotiating. There were issues for which the National Labour Commission made a declaration and award in CTAC's favour, which have not been respected by the government since 2022. We will see how we can remedy the situation, he said. I have asked them to consider calling off the strike and giving us 2 weeks to see what the state can do. It goes back to 2022, but we will fix it within the next 2 weeks. The ball is in their courts. Meanwhile, the leadership of CTAC says it will consult its National Executive Committee on the minister's request and convey the decision back to the ministry in the course of the week. That's how we wrap up the headlines this morning. For more news, log on to our website at www.abcnewsgh.com and follow us on our socials at abcnewsgh_. ABC in the Morning with Abna Mante comes up next. I am Khadija Isifu. Have a nice day.